I recently went to a talkathon up here in Montreal, and while I was there, I had a lot of fun. Obata, one of the mangakas from Death Note and Batman, was there, and I got to meet him. I also got to meet the actor who played Brock and James or Pokemon, as well as Seto Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh! But out of everything that happened during that weekend, there is one thing that I cannot get out of my mind. You see, in the last several months, I have not been keeping up to date with a lot of anime industry news. This is why when I found myself going to a Crunchyroll panel, I was shocked to find out that Crunchyroll, the anime streaming company, was going to attempt to venture into sales of their own DVDs. They are planning to release DVD and Blu-ray copies for several of their shows including Berserk 2016, Freeze Season 1, and Cambaneri. This was apparently announced during AX, and I just did not know until now. When the convention ended, I kept thinking about this topic and I finally come to a conclusion. I think that this move is one of the best things that could possibly happen to the Western anime industry. Now that is a huge statement, but I truly do believe that as long as Crunchyroll doesn't screw this up, then this will do nothing but good for the Western anime industry. The reason I am so optimistic is because of how much Crunchyroll has done to revolutionize the Western anime industry in the past several years. Before Crunchyroll started to gain traction in the West, the anime industry was stagnant. As much as I love Funimation, they are not a company that likes to change without someone forcing them to do it. If you have been around long enough, you remember Funimation's old website design, and you remember how bad they were at adapting to streaming. Their website was a mess and only had part of their library up for streaming, and their player was actually worse than it is now, if you could believe that. Crunchyroll is what changed them. Funimation saw that they were losing money to Crunchyroll, so they kicked their ass into high gear on the streaming front. If you pay attention to what was being released on which platform, you'd remember around 2014-2015 where Funimation just dominated Crunchyroll and getting all the big shows that are coming out in any given season. That was until early this year where for some reason the quality of shows Crunchyroll got just jumped up significantly. At the end of 2014, to try and compete with Crunchyroll, Funimation announced their broadcast stubs. The reason they decided to go with this strategy is extremely clear. They thought it was something that Crunchyroll wouldn't be able to do on the same scale as them. Not long after Funimation started making their broadcast stubs, Aniplex started their own broadcast stub for Durarara Season 2, and they aired it on Crunchyroll. After that, there weren't any big Crunchyroll or Funimation announcements until AX this year, where Crunchyroll made their big announcement. Now I know that is quite a bit of history, but think about if Crunchyroll had never been founded. All of those innovations in the Western anime industry would have never happened. Thanks to Crunchyroll, we can now watch almost any anime legally online on various services. We get simulcast at the same time as Japanese, and in forcing Funimation to compete, we began getting broadcast stubs. This is especially impressive because the temptation not to directly compete with other companies must have been huge. Crunchyroll could have made backroom deals with other companies to decide who gets what show this season, to avoid raising the prices of licensing by not bidding against each other. This probably could have saved both companies a lot of money at the expense of the consumer, but instead, Crunchyroll took the path of good old capitalism and forced Funimation to compete to make money, and caused licensing prices to rise, giving the Western and anime industry more power overall in the industry. The best part of this is that Funimation now has to compete for the main source of income, DVDs. Because of this, I am more curious about how Funimation will retaliate than I am curious about how Crunchyroll's DVDs will turn out. Depending on how Crunchyroll decides to handle this DVD release, we might see a significant drop in price for anime DVDs coming soon. Funimation has always been considered the cheap anime company, but if Crunchyroll undercuts them, especially with Freeze Season 1, we might see Funimation gearing up for war. Essentially, to conclude my thoughts on the topic, I'd like to say thank you to Crunchyroll for bringing some good old-fashioned capitalism back to the Western anime industry, and for all of the innovations that came as a result of that. They may not have all been made by you, but it certainly got the ball rolling. This has been MapBenz99. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's in the description. It is at MapBenz99. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, thanks for watching.